What up, guys?
Happy Monday. The camera's on me, so I'm guessing it's watching me.
That's right. Day $1.0 podcast.
Watching me share this video.
30.
Dirty 30.
That's right.
We are 30 episodes in.
It's a good benchmark,
It's
man.
been a good little run. Yeah,
Has been.
Dirty 30. We heard that, and then we just changed what the podcast was going to be today.
Yeah.
Your idea, I think we'd already done it.
We were going to take a business angle, but decided to just talk a little shit instead, right?
No. We're
That's exactly
not
what
talking
happened.
shit.
We're definitely talking shit
We're
today.
gonna progressively talk shit. It's
okay.
shit talking with direction to it.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of
Productive.
like a good old ass whooping.
Super productive.
Like, yes, I
Yeah.
punched you in the face. However, you needed it.
Mhm.
You're
It's a
welcome.
Great way to put it.
Like a good old spanking.
Everyone needs a good face
Don't
punch
do that
once in a while.
nowadays. Don't do that nowadays.
Too late.
Yeah, nowadays is a little interesting. We were talking to Fat earlier. Not him personally, but he knows people that play video games and they're on this new platform. And he said, yeah, his buddy or someone.
It's like Twitch or something, right? Like
Yeah.
live streaming.
And he said people like tuned in and were just watching him eat wings.
Yeah. That sounds right. I'd tune in for that. The internet's weird, man.
He always says stuff. I'm just like, I wonder if the camera's on
The
me right
internet's
now.
weird.
I try to have some etiquette with like what my face looks like because
Yeah.
sometimes I don't have a resting bitch face. I don't have that.
You have a resting, I'm going to fucking kill you face.
Not true. Subjective. Maybe you feel like that.
Internet poll. If Will has a resting, I'm going to kill you face. Comment yes below.
I feel like I'm having that face right now. No, I feel like I have a. What the fuck did you just
Yeah,
say,
that's true.
face?
That's you.
Especially in our world. Sometimes like we'll hear something and I'm just like this.
Yeah.
Oh, like you ever hear
Painful.
something and it's painful
Yeah.
going down,
Mm-hmm.
like it hurts, like going in your ears and like your brain's trying to like
Yep.
your brain's doing its job. It's trying to process what someone said, but you already
Just can't
know
happen.
what the fuck did you
Yeah.
just say. We're gonna get into some of that today too. Yeah, but Dirty 30 episodes. We've had a great time with it. A lot of cool messages. We've had some cool outreach with some folks. A couple personal relationships have grown from that. Friendly, just youngsters reaching out for help and different stuff. A couple scammers here and there too. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
But today's topic. Oh, that's what I was supposed to say about Fat. With just the new generation of video games and watching people
The
eat.
internet and content.
Dude, I have a pet peeve with eating.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why, like, when people, like, I'm imagining you guys are watching me right now, you're tuning in so I can.
Yeah, he's chewing gum right now. He's actually pretty good about hiding it.
I am, but I'm pretending to eat. Like, people tune in to, dude, I cannot stand
What's
it.
that called, Fat? You know all about that weird internet shit.
It's called ASMR, like me
What-
drinking this.
So it's just like sounds?
Dude, it's so weird.
That is weird. I don't get
Like,
it.
if I hear, ask my daughter,
About eating?
oh, dude, if she even thinks about opening her mouth when
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
chewing
yeah.
food,
Yeah.
I'm like radar from around the other side of the house. I could be mowing the lawn, and if someone's inside the house on the
Hilarious.
opposite side, I could hear
You'll
you.
hear it.
I could hear you, and I can't stand it. So some of this fad stuff, or I don't know what you call it. It's super weird. Speaking of weird, not to spoiler alert, but I was watching El Camino this weekend. Wasn't impressed. That's the continuation of Breaking Bad.
And it's a movie, right? It's not a series?
It's a Netflix movie.
Okay.
And it was just Jesse running around with PTSD.
We almost watched that.
Yeah, man. I definitely enjoyed the series. If you haven't seen El Camino, just watch it. If you've watched all 5 or 6 seasons, you're gonna watch it. It's just you gotta have some closure.
Good or what?
Just uneventful.
Did you get into Better Call Saul?
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
liked
thought it was
You
funny.
watched it? That was a good show.
It was better. It started off a little slow, and I was like,
liked it.
and I thought it was gonna be like the Minions.
Yeah.
So the Minions, and when they co-star, is great. The Minions movie, they're pushing it. So I thought for sure, Better Call Saul. I thought for sure it was just gonna be too much Saul. Like they were gonna push that character too far, and it would just get corny. It was actually pretty good. The relationship with his brother and
I like him.
dumb shit.
I like him. He's
Not
funny.
that we do sketchy stuff.
You know what's funny though about like like people tune in to watch fat eat wings, man. I think there's so much bullshit on social media, so much fake shit that people now are just craving normalcy, like just craving like real
I like
life.
how I said Fat had a friend or some shit, and then
Real
Eli
shit.
goes, "Someone tune in to watch Fat eat wings." I'm like, I don't know if it was fat or not. I was trying to undisclose
It was.
Was
He's
it?
not embarrassed
Allegedly.
about that. Yeah, fat live streams eating wings. In case anyone wants to watch.
Apparently, Fat has a Patreon where you can pay a certain amount of money per month and like listen to him eat fucking
But
hot
people,
wings
people like normalcy.
and talk in
man.
a super strong accent.
What's yours? How can people find you, Fat? We'll put it in the notes.
I'm gonna put it in the link later.
Yeah, we'll put it in the link later. All right.
$39.99 a month.
Did
That's
you
right.
say a Patreon?
Yeah,
Yeah, for $2,000 a month.
I know.
Yeah.
That's for tier 3 though. He does
Fat
have
will
a,
put hot sauce on his nipples and
He-
eat wings for
he
you.
does have a tier 1 that's only $9.95 a month. Oh shit.
Oh my
That's funny.
god, dude!
All right, what are we talking
I
about?
don't even know
today?
where that name came from. How do I know what Patreon even is?
I don't know.
Weird.
I know.
Getting around the youth.
Real weird.
Or I'm an yeah, I am. one.
Because you pay for my tier 3.
That's
I
right.
do.
That's right.
Well
That's right.
worth it. Well worth it.
Oh shit.
So today, man up
Yeah.
is our topic. There is a lot of discussion around this. I've heard a lot of it. I joke. I say some things on social media to just spark thought.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say man up. I don't tell people how to be. I might talk some of my experiences or where I come from, or because that's what I can speak to. But there's a lot of stigma around manning up or what that even means nowadays. Like, and we were talking earlier, like, is it gone? Is it hurt? Has it changed? Did society change it? Did women change it? Did men change it? All I know is there's some differences,
Mhm.
and I definitely want to talk about that. In addition to that, we also want to talk a little bit about fitness, because I know we were talking about our non-negotiables. I have not seen your notepad, but I'm guessing one of your non-negotiables as far as manhood, and this is no disrespect to womanhood, right? Like, I can kind of feel that coming already.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not saying don't lean in. Yep, that's a Facebook lady book phrase. I'm not saying don't lean in. I'm not saying don't be an alpha female. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying anything at all, right? Like, it's just not the topic of discussion
Yeah.
today. So this isn't to say that man up is more important or should come first. Nope, it just means you got two dudes on a podcast who are fucking morons who talk, and we're going to give our opinion within this scope.
Mm-hmm.
Not degrading the other scope, not saying the other scope's not important. We're just not in that scope today, if that's fair to say. But a couple things we're going to cover. Non-negotiables,
Mm-hmm.
just as far as like manhood per se.
What does that mean to you, right?
Right.
Like, as far as your non-negotiables, like, what are the things you do not bend on
Yeah.
that you consider are what make up your manhood?
Doggy style. That's going.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I don't know what I wrote.
Whatever
We're not there.
stereotypes people were thinking,
Yes.
you just confirmed for them.
Listen. Listen. First and foremost, the second I said that, any male or female, depending on your preference, your sexual preference, was in agreement. Okay, that's one of those ones where it's like it's good to give and receive, right? I'm assuming. Non-negotiables,
Okay.
stereotypes, just being yourself, not forcing an identity. I'm going to talk about that. That's where I'm going to joke about these pale ales and beards, and I'm not against them.
And
I'm going to explain.
that ties into our alpha episode we had a little bit ago, too.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Has society hurt this? Has it changed it? We got into fat story. And I also want to talk about relationships as far as like, is there a manning up in relationships, right? Like, does chivalry still exist? What is that in the first place? Is it okay to have a role as far as a man? Even if you have like a dominant, partner, does that make you less of a man? Does that mean you can't still do manly things? Is it inappropriate to say they're manly things now? Like they have to be neutral things? I don't fucking know. We're going to get into it. So I guess we can start super beginning. I don't know if we need to define what manhood is or what we're talking about. For me, it's just being good to your word and just cowboying up and just taking care of fucking business, man. Just being a man about your shit. It definitely bleeds into how I think relationships should go. I know that's toward the bottom, so we'll kind of get into that. But I think man up is just like, hey, man, just stand for something, be about something, be about your shit, handle your shit. Anti words, I guess, that come into my head are just swayable. If you're swayable, if you're dramatic, if you're easily convinced, you know, if your sphere of influence, you know, makes it, you know, tends to make your decisions for you, all of those words to me start to speak as far as like, hey, you've got to man up.
Yeah.
Like if you know what I mean? Like it's okay to seek advice. It's okay to do certain things. But if you're just easily convinced, if you're that person that can just read a title to an article and then you just take that and run your mouth with it because you don't want to read the article, or you're the person that doesn't want to do research on the opposite side. If you want everything to manage for you, like a lot of those, if you just want to support or just read about the side you support, doing things you don't like, like not doing those things because you don't like them. Those fucking piss me off.
You hit on
right.
You hit on a couple like of my key points there, and one of those is like being a free thinker, like you said, like thinking for yourself, taking things deeper than just face value, right? Like whatever your opinions you have in life, you know, whatever your non-negotiables per se, as far as your mindset, your philosophies, are those always changing and expanding and growing in a positive, intentional way, or are they always changing based on what articles you read that week or what some quote unquote mentor told you to do, right? The other phrase that I like that I think about often is doing what's required, whether you feel, emphasis on feel, whether you feel like it or not. What is required? You're going to feel like it sometimes. You're not going to feel like it sometimes. Are you still doing what's required regardless of your feelings at the moment?
100%. And soft. I do like the word soft when I'm describing this type of male. I do think society a lot has gotten soft, right? Like when I think of like my granddad or our dad's era, just World War II era, just you know, like we're spoiled, man. Life is like, dude, it's cold outside. It snowed the other day, right? You remember that? It snowed. Oh, your car's outside, right? Beep, beep. And then the car starts. And when my car is below a certain temperature, like if the car senses it's below a certain temperature, the heater and defroster comes on.
Yep.
And you're like, dude, like you have, right? So for me, I intentionally, and this is where I get into fitness a lot. This is where business thrives for me. I feel like I intentionally need some discomfort. That just makes me feel like I'm still pressing and I'm still like earning something. If things come too easy, maybe to a fault, I can question it to a sense, but I can also see it within society of just how easy things come. Like we see it in entrepreneurship, male and female, but we're talking male today. But dude, there's just a sense of softness and like, you know how like the pendulum swings, like maybe men were too manly per se in our dad's era, right? Just too hard-headed. My dad's hard-headed as fuck, right? I get it. Too hard-headed, too ornery, works every day of your life. Fucking spank your kids. Feelings don't matter. Fuck, right? I think people are kind of picking up what I'm putting down. Get it. Raised around it. Too much? Definitely. Like, I definitely think there's validity in, like, being soft-spoken when it's needed and explaining lessons to your kids. Like, even if I crack your ass, right? Like, just coming back and explaining a lesson learned, taking that time. We didn't, you know, you and I talk about raising our sons around what we do as entrepreneurs and the fact that we get to do that. So a lot of care and patience and explanation goes into that versus with our dads. We didn't have that luxury. Like, they went to work, and they didn't like work. They had to work, but they did work because they're a man. And see that food you're eating on that fucking table? Shut your mouth. That's where it comes from. I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not going to speak to it because I wasn't an adult in that era. I think just men in general, like, we just do what we can to get by and do our best with what we have, correct? So trying to judge our dad's era is like, we weren't fathers back then, right? So I have a hard time with that. However, I do feel like there's just like the pendulum has swung to the other side.
The opposite.
Where like now it's like, hey, dudes are wearing makeup and combing their hair and wearing skinny jeans and
Guilty.
being sensitive and like And here's the thing, and I'm not going to name any names. There are women that are fucking pissed off about it.
Yeah.
Like, you might think it's cute on Instagram because he's got some ripped up jeans and his pretty face and whatever it may be, but you don't feel safe around him. Right? You don't feel secure. You don't feel safe. There's no ambition behind them. They've almost taken on a submissive role. And that's also been married up with, ironically, we've had a super, super proactive female push within military, within the working, just the corporate world. So, and I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying the timing of it is so ironic and it's so sensitive because as dudes are starting to like sensey up, women were like out there taking on that dominant role, but then you see a lot of disconnect within the dating world.
You do.
And for me, a lot of it is just, it's just mentally where people are. So that's what I think of when I'm trying to paint this picture of like, what do you mean, Will? Like, what do you mean, man up? I'm joking about White Claw, kinda.
Yeah.
Okay? Unless it makes you a bitch, then I'm not joking. Stop it. But dude, I'm so over like that because I come from, like, I feel like if you were to talk to my family, regardless of what you think of my look, did you say that on air?
What?
I had a killer look. Fuck.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Regardless of that, right?
Yeah.
My family will tell you, like, I have a calm demeanor and I can be sensitive and explain.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't mean, like, I won't put a trigger on you quick as shit, right? Drink a choice. Angry Orchard. Love it. I'm a sweet tooth.
Yep.
But again, I'm not going to drink pale ale because that's the manly thing to do. And I'm jumping the gun. I want to let you talk first, so I'll just say this last piece. I'm not going to drink something because you fucking drink it. Pale ale tastes like shit. A beard, it's just my fucking face. It's just not me. But again, but if that is you, then that's fine.
Yes.
But if that's you because you're taking on what you think is an identity, no, you're exactly what I'm talking about. And it needs to be talked about. And I think is what I'm getting at. And I get a little like sparky, we'll call it, so I don't offend anyone. I get a little sparky because guys from my era were called Generation X, not from age. Generation X was a study that got done. I know they did it a lot in the Marine Corps. It was all of your guys who decided to join the armed forces after 9/11. There was a huge question of, are we soft? Now that 9/11's happened, like, are we going to be able to win a war? Are we as hard as in tough, manly wise as like World War II vets? A lot of debate. And then what they started seeing was, and what they called us in the military was Generation X, guys that were willingly going, knowing what the fuck they were getting themselves into and what your chances were. So I take pride in that. And I take pride in like, no, I try to be a hybrid. I try to learn from how I wish my father would have spoke to me at times, and it's all good that he didn't. I'm over it. I'm all good, right? But I try to take some things of where I feel like I could be more sensitive or explain some things, but then at the same time, I take pride in like, look, dude, and I know you're gonna shit on me for this one. I get Kate's door no matter where we go. I just do. You know, like there's just certain things. You know, like, yeah, if people think I have a command presence, I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna get rid of it. I don't force it. Right? I'm not going to get rid of it, but I also don't like try to puff my chest up and force it. Right. You know what I mean?
Because you can see that from a mile away in anybody. When anyone's forcing or trying, you can spot that.
And that's what I'm talking about. Well, some of my focus today and some of the context I want to give you while I'm speaking so much here up front is that people like trying to put an identity to like what the modern man is. And I think anytime something is forced beyond the point to where you're just not being original, that's the problem. Because when people are being original, you're going to have guys like me, then you're going to have guys that are just different. And it's all good because I think at the core of us as men, there's still certain things we should be doing and handling and taking care of business that has nothing to do with like your image or what kind of fucking beer you drink. It has everything to do with just what you feel. Like, what's that fire inside of you, right? Like, is it getting doors for girls? Maybe your wife doesn't like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe your wife's pink and she rides dirt bikes and shit and she calls you a bitch for getting her door. I don't know. I'm not saying that getting your wife's door makes you a man. But there are some things, like there's that conscience we have, right? And there's that voice that speaks to you inside. And you're either answering it and you're doing things that make you feel like you're accomplishing your version of manhood, or you're going to die in quiet despair. You're going to have that fire inside of you. You're going to die like a little bitch. that's the topic today. Like being your own version of like what a manning up is, and just not being a bitch. And okay, so what's a bitch? Not doing what you feel you should be doing as a man because you're subjecting yourself to opinions, and you're going against your own better judgment, or you're trying to bend to how society or people around you think that you should act,
or just do what's comfortable. That's it. Most people, I think, are just trying to remain comfortable throughout life. Dude.
It's a good word.
Dangerous
word.
I want to back up just a little bit to give people some tactical advice here. So when Will started talking about non-negotiables,
he's got dude. He's got camouflage on. New York Yankees,
like
and he's
that?
talking to Cactus.
I'm trying to win you over today, bro.
You're getting me fucking horny in a manly way.
So going back to non-negotiables, when you talked about being uncomfortable, right, and just how guys are getting soft and shit is just super easy now, right? Our seats heat up, our steering wheels heat up, our cars like auto warm in the winter. We have air conditioning in the summer. Our gyms have air conditioning, right? Our external factors are all guided towards comfort. Not complaining because I like every single one of those things. However, to Will's point, what we need to be very, very cognizant of is that we are intentionally putting ourselves in uncomfortable / distressing situations because we know it's needed and it's for the greater good. Hence, fitness and working out is the foundation of everything that we do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my biggest thing is like, why is this is something, not to take your man card because I'm not going to give it in that way, but you and I have spoken about like business, and you and I have had a ton of productive conflict. And prior to me, maybe a lot of conflict was negative. And it's like, hey, conflict does not have to be negative.
Right.
Something that's hard is not negative. There's just so many negative connotations.
Yeah.
Right. And like, sometimes I don't blame women. Like, they don't feel safe around you. They don't feel secure. They don't feel like, listen, dude, it's okay. And you don't have to have tattoos. Like, my tattoos are my stories, and I'm okay with them. That doesn't mean you have to have them. I promise you, if somebody comes into my house, I'm taking care of business. And then I'll probably eat a bowl of cereal and go back to bed. And then no one will even know what happened.
Yeah. Dude.
And there is a sense of security with women. Like, you don't have to have tattoos. You don't have to be a big fat slob like me, right? Like, you don't have to be that, okay?
Yeah.
Like, but you can still make a woman feel safe. You can still make a woman feel taken care of. You can still, like, maybe fighting's not your thing. If some dude smacks your chick's ass or says some crazy shit in a club, in a bar, okay, I'm putting myself into those shoes.
Okay.
It's been a while. Like, I'm physically trying to imagine, like, okay, I'm not, and I don't like to fight.
Yeah.
Regardless of my past, I don't go looking for fights, man. Dude, when I drink or we go out, I'm so laid back. I don't like that type of conflict.
Yeah.
I just don't like unknown variables. You just never know, like,
especially
if you
when
punch
it's
a guy,
not needed.
No.
Yeah.
And if you punch a guy, you don't know how many friends he's got, or some weirdo that just is watching that wants to hit you with a bottle because he just wants to take a sucker punch at someone. There's just too many unknown variables.
Yep.
Here's the deal. I don't like it. If someone starts grabbing Kate's ass or just saying some foul shit in a bar, that's my day.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, man, this isn't fun. I'm going to figure it out as I go. However, that's just not going down.
Yeah.
Right? Versus buying a guy a drink or, let's just leave. I know. And bless your heart, you probably have a more logical, answer than I am. You're right. Like, Will, what's the sense in breaking that whole bar down and breaking fucking chairs and like, you're right. Listen, leaving. Yep. Look, it's less messy. No one goes to jail. I you know what?
Here's the thing though. As soon as anything physical happens or enough words are exchanged to where it is an unsafe situation, that's where it has to go, right? But there's a lot of outs up to then. But once it gets physical or enough words are exchanged,
unsafe is hard because if a guy smacks or grabs a booty, I don't know if it's unsafe. It's unsafe for him.
Well, here's what I'm saying. The woman would be in some sort of physical.
Listen,
here's what I'm saying though.
You're being kind.
No. I'm saying there's a time and place for it. Yes, you're right. And if you aren't able to fucking do what's needed, I couldn't imagine the feeling of not being able to handle myself.
I can't. I'm just gonna be fat. Forgive me. I'm just gonna be super vulgar. If you talk common sense and decide to buy that guy a drink or tell your girl who just got violated that it makes more sense to just politely leave.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
No, I know
Okay,
that.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
that.
Okay.
I have a hard time thinking that she's talking dirty to you and fucking you that night, telling you how masculine and smart it was to talk your way out of a situation where she was violated.
She's taking notes, dude. That's what I'm saying. It gets to a point to where you have to fucking do something.
Yeah.
And if you are
and
unable
like,
to,
hey, that's okay. And I know I'm on an extreme right now because I've got a lot of thoughts.
it's really not that extreme.
No, it's not.
It's not.
You're right. But I've got a lot of thoughts and I'm trying to organize them because I joke and I try to stay lighthearted. But no, man, like I have a problem with just guys just being fucking soft, man. Like so let me give you an example because we're talking fitness. There's guys in the gym, and I had like 3 the other week when I was working out with a buddy of mine. His name's Chris, 50 years old, firefighter, yoked, comes in after, and not at
That
one
dude's
time.
53?
50.
God damn.
Yeah, bro, yoked. And he comes in every day after his 24-hour shifts, man.
Yeah.
Like, strong as shit. And we've had guys come up with their exercise bands and different stuff and, like, ask a couple of questions because you can kind of feel like they're feeling it out or just then they realize you're a nice guy. Like, dude, I'm super nice to anyone in the gym. All good. And then you get the comment like, yeah, I don't want to get big. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Listen to me. Listen. Stop it. Sit down. Shame on you. It took years and years and years of heavy ass weight in a large, inappropriate diet to get there. You are not going to get, you might not even genetically have it in you, man. Some of that just comes out of genetics, but they're like, oh, I don't want to get big. And I feel like they know they're not.
They know.
But it's an excuse that justifies your exercise bands.
Yep.
And like your mobility work.
Yep.
I don't even know what to say to that. But like, look, or, the other question I got, how did I get traps?
Yeah.
I had a guy ask me what trap exercises I do. None. None. I fucking deadlifted for years and it pulled on every single thing in your body, man. And I had a pack on in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And I had ammo cans.
Yeah.
Right? Like I didn't know how to answer the question. And again, I feel like that whole quiet despair in men, like you fucking know.
They know.
You fucking know, bitch.
Yeah.
Stop talking to me like this. But acting like that and saying I don't want to get big or I don't want whatever justifies your little bitch workout.
I love how we started this podcast off with me saying we're going to talk shit, and you're like, no, we're not talking shit.
Dude, I'm sorry, man.
30
I'm cussing
bitches
today.
later.
I know, dude. It's Monday. Like I'm in a great mood, but it's Monday, and I've kind of had it.
That's funny.
Right? I've kind of had it. All right, so non-negotiables.
Yes.
Let's get up to the top of the list because we haven't covered shit
Making
yet.
yourself uncomfortable. Doing some uncomfortable shit.
Okay,
right?
good.
Understanding that uncomfortable things are what's going to make you hard. Go for that run in the cold. Go lift at 5:30 in the morning if that's what you're scared to do. Do the shit that you don't want to do, right? Do you have to do that for the next 10 years? No. Should you commit to doing it for the next 90 days to feel it? Yes. Changing fucking dirty diapers, getting your girl's door, like that's not, like those can even be little things of just being aware of your day-to-day life, doing the dishes, right? You're wiping down the counters and there's the toaster that you never move when you wipe down the counters. Lift the toaster up and wipe under it. It's the little things. Don't think it needs to be these big things. I'm real big on the little things that you kind of skirt every day, right? You're not wiping down the squeegee in the shower when you're done with it. You wait on taking the trash out a little bit.
You're gonna know. So what you're getting at is like
things.
you're gonna know your little quirks in life that you should know yourself. You've got your intuition. You should know where you've been slacking off.
Yes,
and those are little gateway drugs.
They
too.
are. That's
You're
it.
coming up to me with your little fucking exercise band in the gym, telling me like that's so you don't get big. It's preventative maintenance from swollenness.
Yep. Dude, and that's the thing too. Coming back on that, most guys who do want to get big can't even get big. They can't even eat enough calories to get to where they want to be. They can't. I don't know. They can't push themselves enough in the gym, or they just do it long enough. But most guys who do want to be big can't get big. You're not going to accidentally just get jacked because you start pushing a little weight in the gym.
A lot of it's genetic. And let me go to the flip side too, because I can hear the little guys, not in a derogatory way. be yourself. When I go to the gym, it's been way more mental than physical for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's been a huge mental release since transitioning out of the military, out of the Marine Corps, transitioning back home, dealing with like the workload of a police officer and the stressors that come with that. And the gym was always mental for me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed putting myself under some type of difficult environment. Like I recognize that through things I did in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I needed it. So when I went to the gym, it had to be hard. It couldn't not be hard for me because it wouldn't feel productive. Genetically, I think I'm a bigger dude. Dude, I graduated high school at 200 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like people say, you know, like, oh, that's not that heavy. I'm 6 foot and I was
is.
200 pounds in high school,
Yeah.
but I was pretty lean.
Yeah.
Like I was probably more, you know, and I'm a bigger guy now.
Yeah.
You've seen some of my older pictures.
Yeah.
I've actually been more of a shredded dude.
Yeah.
For the majority of my life, but I was just a bigger dude. Like I was pretty lean as a senior, but still upward of 200, 202. You know, I was a bigger kid. So what I'm getting at is like, I'm not saying that you have to be huge. What I'm saying is when you come up to guys like me and you feel like you have to say something like, oh, I don't want to get big. That's why I got this little bitch ass cord in my hand. That's where you're wrong. That's where me in the gym has for some reason given you an insecurity to come over and open your mouth to me, versus if you just like who you are and you're in there and you're doing mobility work and your workout is hard in a different kind of way and you got no desire to pick up heavy shit, dude, all good. So all good. So in the middle of my banter, let me make sure that I'm being specific. You don't have to be a bigger guy. Matter of fact, I literally only think I'm a bigger guy because I do enjoy the difficulty and the mental behind picking up heavy shit adequately.
Yeah.
Not just trying to throw it around, blow my fucking back out. No, actually stabilizing and controlling and executing movements with heavy ass weight. And I think the byproduct was, as I got older, I'm 35 now, I've put on some good size. But it was from the difficulty of the workout and the style in which I work out. Now, here's the deal. I'm down 26 pounds. I haven't even looked at a fucking treadmill or a stair stepper or a bike. Like my workouts get pretty intense. And guess what? I'm still lifting heavy shit. That's just how I enjoy working out. And it's actually harder because I weigh less. So I'm mentally having to
So
push.
you're trying to push the same numbers.
Dude, I'm trying to push through that plateau so hard because I'm down. But here's the deal. Well, then how are you down weight? Diet. The biggest contributor to like whether you're going to be a big dude or not is your diet. So if you genuinely are listening to this and you're like, well, dude, I'm not a bitch. I just don't want to get huge, but I've never enjoyed heavy weight because I fear I'm gonna get big, and I'm not a bitch. I promise. I'm just okay. It's okay. You're safe. Okay. If your diet is not a fuck ton of calories, it doesn't matter how much weight you're pushing, man. You're not gonna
super
just get
important
huge.
right there.
It's your
Super
diet.
important. Yeah.
But again, I think what I'm starting to boil down to, you know, even though we're still supposed to be back at the top with your non-negotiables, I think just being swayed, just having insecurities and being swayed and feeling the need to say something, to just to just make a point because you think people are paying attention that you're not big.
You give yourself an out.
Yeah, you gave yourself an out. I don't want to get big. Like, dear fucking God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's more of what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say be a big guy. And you see me work out. I've got a lot of mobility. I've got a lot of flexibility, full ranges of motion. I'm not a bigger guy because I'm a meathead. Like I've got my education more than most think. Even when I was in the Marine Corps and after the Marine Corps, I finished my schooling. Like, I just enjoy heavy ass weight, and I think genetically, just being that big from being a kid on, I think that's just how God made me. But I'm not trying to fulfill an image. I'm just a byproduct of my thoughts and my effort and why I choose to work out the way I do. If that makes sense, right?
Yep. Now, another point that I want to talk on, and again, this is one that. Another little quote that I like, and our buddy Nathan actually commented this on our last video, which made me think about it. Shout out to Nathan. He said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that's one that I like a lot too. Coming back to the simple act of just cleaning your house or wiping your counters down, right? You're going to wipe the counters down, and you know that you're going around the toaster and the Keurig machine. You're not cleaning behind it, although you see a little dust back there. where else in your life are you taking those little shortcuts where you know there's an issue and you're just ignoring them?
Well, where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Right. And I know like those little things don't matter, but they do.
They do, dude.
They do, because
They
if
do.
if those little things don't matter to you, that line is going to continue to get pushed to
Yeah.
where else are you slacking?
With your diet, with your relationships, with your work. When you told somebody, here's a big one I'm on, is, you know, if you tell someone, hey, I'm going to shoot you that email later today.
Ooh.
Shit, man. If that comes at 12:01 that next
Like
morning.
if you tell people you're going to get them login information over the weekend.
That's why I'm bringing it up. I told Will I was going to send him some email 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Just now did. However, there have been multiple times where, you know, I've told a client or something, yeah, I'll get this to you today. And then I'm laying in bed, 10:30, and I'm like, shit, I
Just
didn't
do it.
I get up, and it's getting done that night. Even though it's late, they're not going to read till the next
And there's
morning.
and there's not a Facebook post about it.
Nope.
There's not a slap on your back, good for me post. No,
Nope.
man. Like, you just get it done. And
Handle
I'm
your
an
shit.
advocate, dude.
Handle
I'm
your
big on
shit.
social media. I do try to write messages. I
Yep.
try to spark thought to help people. However, the most beneficial things that I have is like what I say to myself when
Yes.
I fucking know better
Yes.
and I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing and no one's looking. Right, like if I'm on this cruise and I'm going, you know, and I'm dropping weight, I'm sticking to like whatever I'm doing, whatever those goals are at the point, and like it's a little bit more diet strict, and I'm sneaking downstairs for milk and cookies,
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's asleep.
Yep.
Not even Santa's here yet,
But you know.
but you know,
Yeah, you do.
and I think that's the worst, right?
It is.
It's a slippery slope, man.
It
So
is.
I agree. So non-negotiables. Let's cover yours again.
Doing hard shit.
Doing hard shit.
Yep.
That's one.
Yep. Doing what you say you're going to do.
Being good to your word.
Yep.
That's
whether
definitely one
you
of mine.
Whether you feel like it or not.
Correct.
And then growth is another big one for me, and in particular mindset. And there's something here that I like, man, and that's just the thought. And like you mentioned, you do have this like extremely sensitive side and this extremely calm side.
Hear that?
He does. And I'm real big on this. And stay open-minded about this, you will. But for our listeners, stay open-minded about this. Where I feel like a true man, right, will embrace the masculine as well as the feminine. And by the feminine, I mean the loving, the nurturer, the caretaker side, the I'm going to get the door for you side, I'm going to
Whatever that side is for you.
Yes, but that's that soft feminine side. Soft in the sense of just
Freeze fruit.
soft. I know.
I
But that's what I'm saying. A true man will.
Is that the right word for it? Feminine?
It,
Why can't that be compassionate?
It's the yin and the yang.
I know. No,
It's
no,
the
don't.
yin and the yang.
no,
It's the
don't.
black and the
Okay,
white. The
I'm
feminine
okay.
and the masculine.
I don't know if it's
Yep.
feminine. I don't think feminine's the right word.
It's the dichotomy of opposites.
No.
Feminine. A feminine trait would be nurturing caretaker.
But you're also talking female.
Mm-hmm.
Which is where
It's a
the-
feminine trait.
Yeah, I know, but
And that's what I'm saying. To be a well-rounded man.
so being the man that I am, I'm not
Yep.
bending to your bullshit. Is what I'm getting at. No, I see what you're
but
saying.
you encompass those traits.
I don't think I have any feminine traits. I think I have compassionate traits. I just don't. And again, it's okay to disagree. I think
Mhm.
we're saying the same thing
We
in
are.
a different way.
We are. I'm putting a label on it, and that's fucking you up.
A little. Well, I think you're able to just dissect the word feminine differently
Mhm.
than me. Feminine just speaks more female to me
Mm-hmm.
versus like no, like I don't have a feminine side at all. I don't mind having like a nurturing or a
compassionate.
compassionate
Right.
side.
And
just
in
don't
my
think the
mind, I'm
word
thinking
feminine.
if you were to write down male traits and feminine traits,
But I don't.
male
I don't
traits.
have. Yeah, but oh man, now you're putting shit in a box. You're fucking
I am, but that's the yin and the yang.
fat. Check
That's
this
what
guy.
I'm
would
saying.
you?
That's the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. It's all
Let's get
the
back
same
to those.
thing.
Hey, let's get back to the hot sauce on your nipples.
It's all the same thing.
No, he's not talking to us today. People don't even
That's
think fat's real.
hilarious.
No, I know what you mean. I just don't
Yeah.
put the word feminine on it. 'cause
Correct.
that
Right,
would
right,
be
right.
for females.
Yeah.
Because females can have what I would think of as dominant or strong traits, not
Mhm.
masculine. Like just because they're doing something that maybe a man would do doesn't make it a masculine trait. It just makes it a strong or a bold trait,
Mhm.
not a masculine. I don't know. That's just how I
Yeah,
see it.
it's
I think
labels.
I think
It's
we're-
labels. We're saying the same shit.
We are
Be well-rounded is what we're saying.
100%.
Just because you think you're a man, don't feel like you can't take care of your baby when they're sick, or you can't go and
Or you can't say I'm sorry.
you can't say I'm sorry. That's a perfect example right
or you
there.
can't cry.
Perfect. You can't cry.
Fucking cried for 3 hours in my
Perfect-
basement last
Perfect
week.
example, dude. Perfect example. It's exactly what I'm talking
I
about.
did.
We did.
Fuck.
Yeah, we did.
Don't admit that part. People are
But-
going to go, what happened in your basement?
I'm telling
to
you,
where
though,
you two are holding each other crying. A lot of shrooms. I'm
no,
kidding. I'm
that's some
kidding.
real shit, though, dude.
Yeah,
and,
man.
and that's what makes a well-rounded man. If you're so stuck in the sense of I can't feel that way, you're fucked, man.
And you can feel that way. And I feel like the man, and I'm accentuating that because like I
Mhm.
don't think I'm this big man that has to do certain things. I don't walk around like that.
Mhm.
Contrary to my humor on this
Yeah,
podcast.
uh-uh.
But as a man, I feel like I do try to just shoulder a ton.
Mhm.
Not obligated to it, just
Mm-mm.
decisions I've made in life and through my experiences, I shoulder a lot.
Mhm.
And nope, I don't talk about them a lot. Not because I'm insensitive,
Mhm.
not because I am scared to talk to them or talk about it. None of that. I just feel like, hey, that's just part of who I am. And like these scars kind of make up who I am. All good, man. Shoulder them and fucking get after it.
Mhm.
And a lot of times there's a cure in just not succumbing to those all the time. Because I feel
Mhm.
like if I succumb to those all the time, they now become an excuse for lack of direction and lack of initiative and lack of just energy.
Yeah.
And I start becoming dramatic.
Yeah.
And dramatic is not a female word. Let me be clear. Right? I'm not saying women are dramatic. They can be. So can men. Fuck, so can men nowadays.
Mhm.
But I don't want to be dramatic. And I do feel like if I'm not dealing with my plate and I'm always complaining about it or allowing it to be some excuse as to why I'm not doing something else, yeah, dude, you're kind of
Mhm.
being dramatic. Hey, I kind of need you to nut up and get your shit done.
Mhm.
That's what I say to myself. Like, hey, man, get your shit together.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I had a moment. Lasted a little while. But you know, they're few and far between, and sometimes like that shit.
Well, and how
it just
productive
weighs
was
on
it?
you.
How
Well,
productive
yeah,
was
I
it?
mean, now launching forward, it was extremely
Yeah.
productive. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of like, and I hate the word balance because I don't know if there's a balance in everything. And this is why I'd say you just got to be you, man.
Mhm.
But I do think that like a lot of guys are lost because maybe they don't have a male role figure, or maybe their dad, like for guys our age, maybe their dad was just way too far one direction.
Yep.
So like, yeah, I love my dad. Like, you know, it's a great a great example from that '70s show, Red.
I love
that
that guy.
fucking guy.
Yeah.
Remember when he was crying and he was
So
crying? He
true.
called home crying, the
Yeah.
son, and she's like, "Oh, honey," the mom. "Oh, honey, hold on, let me get your dad." He's like, "No, no, no," and he's like, "What?" "Oh, no, everything's okay. Your mom says you're crying. Why you're crying?" Like, "Oh,
Am I the mom?
I just
dude?
had a
Am I
bad
that
day."
mom?
And he goes, "Bad day. I was in Vietnam. Try a bad life." And he fucking hangs up on him. And dude, listen, it's funny, right?
shit.
Because it's a comical way of just saying like, "Hey, suck it up."
Yeah.
But I do understand, like in real life, if that's your dad, it's really hard to have that balance. You're getting that whole suck it up, shoulder it,
Yeah.
don't have emotions. And I do think as sometimes, especially as fathers, you got to suck it up.
Yep.
You can't show your emotions at home all the time and put your worries on your kids. You got to man up and handle it. But I think a lot of guys are just having a hard time finding that balance between like, I want to have that burning desire in me, but I still want to be compassionate and loving to my family, but I want to go out and be this lion, you know, and learn how to surf or just be around guys and like feel like something. I was in the Marine Corps. I got my balls off. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you
right?
checked that box.
I don't need to necessarily like do a lot more. I don't need to go jumping out of more shit or
Right.
snowboard. Like I don't necessarily need certain things, and maybe guys do, and I
Yeah.
completely understand it. And they're trying to seek somewhere. And
Yep.
if all you have is social media and a couple of friends, like, yeah, man, maybe it's cool to grow a beard and drink a nasty fucking beer.
Go throw a hatchet.
God,
Yeah.
fucking don't get me. Listen, dude, don't. Have you done that yet? Fat doesn't want to say a word today because he's like, I have no idea where these guys are going to draw the line and say something rude. No, it's stuff like, and again, I don't mind trying new things. I don't want people to force an identity behind being a man. Don't wear black boots and grow a beard and wear fucking grunt style t-shirts, because then a guy like me, no, that's not the right way to say it. A guy like me is gonna fucking have a problem. Like, I don't know, man. I'm being funny, but I just don't like when people force an identity to something.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm openly So Nathan might have said a joke, and a couple of other guys have joked before when we go out and we do a happy hour, and I order an Angry Orchard. Like, oh, an Angry Orchard. And they order their big ass nasty oil beer. I'm like, listen, dude. And I've probably said it to every one of them super kindly. Hey, listen, man. I'll kill you in a fucking second. Do you understand me? And then I'm gonna drink that super sweet, super super cute beer. But it's just me, dude. I like it. It tastes good. I'm a sweet tooth.
Yep.
Pale ales and Guinnesses, like they don't fucking do it for me. But good, because if you actually like that shit you're drinking, like, dude, I'm all for it, man. I don't like when guys got to put an identity on something. And I'm gonna say this. I want to get your thoughts on it. And men, don't get mad because I'm about to spill the beans to women. We should probably figure out what time this is on. Okay, time mark this. I'm gonna try not to cuss.
What?
Men, I'm diming you out. Women, I'm going to give you a little secret here. Women, men are just as insecure, if not more, than women.
Definitely more.
Society, although giving everyone a trophy and all of these things and making things softer now and things are easy, I get it. But society hasn't completely embraced the acceptance of men being allowed to be insecure. But we care about how we look. We care about command presence of other men when we walk into a room. We don't like being around men that we feel could murder us. Okay, like we don't like our women around men who are more dominant than us. Whether you like those guys or not, okay, we're uncomfortable. And by we, I mean everyone but me, because I'm probably one of those.
Yeah.
But no man enjoys that.
Yeah.
And this in women, just like when you tell your guy stuff, and you're like, no, like, it doesn't matter how much you're into your guy. It doesn't matter how much you're faithful and you're not messing around and doing anything inappropriate. Some of those environments are just not comfortable for some men. They're out of their element, and it bothers them, and they're insecure. And men, we do care about how we look. We do care about how we feel. We do care about a certain level of dominance in certain scenarios. We're just not necessarily allowed to talk about our insecurity toward those. But we are just as insecure, if not more, than women. But society has definitely made it a lot more acceptable for women to care about how they look in a dress, and I look fat, or I don't like these young girls around my husband, and I'm shooting from the hip here. I'm not saying that's anybody specific, but it's definitely a lot more acceptable for women to be comfortable with insecurities versus men. We're supposed to be strong and tough, and we don't care about our dad bod. Matter of fact, speaking of that, we're going to talk about medical stuff, testosterone, HCG, getting your levels checked as you get older and making sure that you're keeping your shit where it needs to be, because you should be health-wise. But secondly, we just, not to keep beating this dead horse, but we don't talk about, no, men do care about these things. And when they don't feel a certain way, they're insecure as fuck.
They are, but they're also least, in my opinion anyway, they're least likely to do anything about it. Like, I think the pressures from society on women to be pretty and wear makeup and be in shape, their pressure is so great that women do something about it. Whereas men, they have the out, right? They'll feel that way.
Dad bod.
Dude, they'll feel that way you described, but
they
do
can
they
hide
do
behind
anything about it?
They can hide behind the comfort. They can hide behind humor.
They come up to you in the gym and tell you they don't want to get big, but they're asking lifting advice. Those are those guys.
Don't keep reminding me.
Those are those guys,
They bother me.
It's true, dude. It's true.
Yeah.
They're just, because of society, yes, we do have insecurities, but men are so much least likely to do anything about it.
Here's the problem. With those insecurities that men have, compiled with society also softening what a man should be.
Allowing it.
They're almost encouraging.
Not only softening, but it's almost a bad word, man. Like, manning up is almost a bad word now. It is. Like, there's this whole thing going on where it's like, fuck, man. Like, you're a man. You call yourself a man. You're a Nazi. You're this. You're that. And it's like, ugh. Yeah. Yikes. That's scary.
I can only imagine what society thinks of my doggy style comment.
Gosh, I know.
Subjectifying.
They're like, I knew it.
Women to that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a good position.
Hopefully you're not planning on running for office down the road, man.
No.
That ain't happening now.
However, if I ever have a scandal with my wife in the White House, you'll know what it is.
Yeah,
At least if they catch me, and I'm like, well, they might be right. They caught me in that position.
That's true.
And I'm not being funny. Doggy's a good position. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
Can we talk about?
Yeah, we can. So I'm just tying up, like, has society. So we've gotten through a lot of the we're gonna
Yeah.
get the stereotypes.
Yeah.
But we've talked about
We
fitness.
had some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about, we've kind of bounced around. We've gotten our, and my non-negotiables are pretty close to yours, man. Do things that make you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Be good to your word. That's a huge one for me. And then my third one too is just be yourself. So I'm not saying that anything makes you manly, okay? Because just as much as Angry Orchard, I guess, could be put as not manly. You buying guns and then posting on social media about how many guns you own doesn't necessarily make you a fucking man
Correct.
either. It definitely doesn't make you a killer.
Correct.
And hey, don't think I don't got them.
Yep. Correct.
I don't know why you're posting them all the time because I have no idea where that benefits anyone. Okay,
Because they're not doing enough things in real life that also make them
they're
feel like a
forcing
man.
this identity.
Yes.
I got to wear an
Yes.
American flag. I got to post that I shoot beer cans with my guns and drink beer. Yeah, no, yes, if that's you. Okay, because look, the Tim Kennedys of the world, super proactive Americans, super proud. I'm super proud. There's guys that definitely promote their proudness more than I do, but it doesn't mean I'm less proud. It's just not my style. Tim Kennedys of the world, yeah, man, that's their style. Okay, all good. If you're trying to latch on to someone else's style because you're just trying to force an identity, and I know I'm beating a dead horse by this point, but I think that's where it gets concerned. I don't think drinking sissy beer or drinking manly beer or doing a tea party with your daughter or shooting guns, I don't think either one necessarily makes you either side of the fence. It's just being who you need to be.
It's internal versus external affirmations of being a man, right? When you have enough internal affirmations of being a man because you know what goes on inside your head, you know you're good to your word, you know you do hard things every day, you know you're trying your best to provide for your kids and your family. You don't need a T-shirt to make you feel like a man. You don't need to post guns online to feel like a man. You don't need to do all those external things.
And a
right?
gun doesn't make you a man. It doesn't not make you a man if that's your hobbies and you enjoy it, cool. But, dude, we had this guy attached to SOCOM in the Marine Corps. I'm not going to mention his name. He was a fucking substitute math teacher.
Yeah.
He even sounded like it, okay?
Yeah.
Dude, I was questioning because he fit the part so well. Not a bad guy, man. Not the top of the heat, but
solid. Yeah.
But if anything, he might have been better than all of us in a crowd.
Yeah.
Because he was the guy with the cardigan and the fanny pack. And he'd be the guy you're not thinking of that smokes you in a second.
Yep.
Unfortunately for me, I'm a bigger guy. You already think I'm bringing the heat.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, watch those.
But if I got that homie right there, if I got my substitute math teacher, you're dude.
Yeah.
And and when I was doing some government work, man, after the Marine Corps, there was a company that I was interviewing with, and I ended up doing some other stuff for the government instead. But I was working with a what do you call them? The name is Gavin DeBecker and Associates, and they're like executive security. Gavin DeBecker did a lot of presidential security and things like that. And when they go over just their different areas,
private security firm.
Yeah, and they've got big guys and guys you see up front with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they got fanny pack dudes in the crowd.
Yeah,
interesting. No, dude, that you would never pinpoint. So I'm serious. I'm serious, man.
That's awesome.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
But again, it's super tactical, and there's an element of surprise and just concealment to that versus guys like me. It's good and bad. So again, man, I know I'm beating a dead horse. I really hate when people are forcing because when they're forcing an identity of what manhood should look like. Because again, I might look apart.
Yep.
But then I drink Angry Orchard, and I've said it for the 1000th time. I hope they fucking sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
Because I might look a certain way, but then you find out, oh, I did finish school. Oh, I drink girly beers. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. But again, that's just me being true to who I am, man. There's just certain things I like that you might not expect it. And as much as I have a look or a stereotype per se that I'm okay with because I understand that stereotypes just exist, I don't have to adhere to it. And I'm not so uncomfortable with myself that I have to I have to go to the gym to get big, to be this super because there's those guys in the gym, those super big juiced up heads.
Oh yeah.
They're the most insecure people you've ever met in your life, and you can tell they're compensating.
Yep.
I don't have that. I definitely and dude, I love when we meet people and there's something about them that you don't expect.
Me too.
Love that.
I do too.
I love that.
One of the last points for me as far as non-negotiables, man, and we've kind of touched on it throughout this podcast, but I want to talk about it a little bit and just why it's important is just self-defense, man.
Ooh.
As a man, being able to have some basic level of comprehension as far as defending yourself or the people that you're with, you're around, your lady. Super, super
You
important.
are crossing some lines,
super important.
sir.
Learn how to throw a damn punch, please. You're going to feel so much better.
And this is where, again, like I'm not against women fighting or being in the UFC.
Oh,
like,
they should know it too. Yeah.
Just survival. However, there's just a little bit of cowboy in me, man. I'm going to fuck you up if you smack my chick's ass. There's just, and you can call me hard-headed. You can call me ignorant. I'm cool. Like, I've accepted certain things. There's going to be other people with reason. However, are you hiding behind your reasons in a cowardice manner because you don't want to get your ass whooped? Versus, like, me, dude, maybe I get my ass whooped by 4 dudes. That's all right. What you did was not okay. And it's just, you got to understand that's not okay. And, dude, defending your kids, defending your home. Like, it's not, and, dude, it's not just about learning firearms. There's going to be times where you've got to learn how to just defend yourself because that's not an option for you. And, you know, teaching your kids, man. Like, we have a society now where, like, schools, and I saw it as an officer, man. Like, you got schools that are just now kind of sort of taking action with bullying. Where they're starting to make it a crime. But it was so hard for them to figure out stuff in class and recess. And, well, social media is outside of the school and this and that. Like, it's a bunch of bullshit. And a lot of kids took their life. A lot of kids are having issues because bullying's at scale because of social media. And there's issues there. So at some point, like, look, my kids are at school, and I get it. And they're probably at school more than they're with me. But you are not their parent. I'm dad. So if my kid punches your kid, I'm okay with that. Because I trust that my kid, man, Chloe is
that
the
there's
most,
a reason for it.
Dude, Chloe is the sweetest girl on the planet, dude. And I know, oh, you're saying that because she's your daughter. Nope. If she was an asshole, I'd say she's an asshole. That's the dad I am. She's amazing, man. She is her mom. She's a bright light, man. If Chloe has a problem with you, man, like something's wrong, you know. But if Chloe goes to stand up for someone else, and it goes the wrong way, and she uses her Muay Thai on you and head kicks the fuck out of you, okay, like she's getting suspended, or she's just like, fine. And if it comes out that she was not in the wrong and she was defending herself or another kid against abuse, listen, man, that's a long life lesson in the rights, and it's also a long life lesson as an understand. Maybe the school suspends you because they have a no tolerance. And I'm not going to fight the school.
No,
I know the rule.
Cool.
And I'm going to teach my kid, hey, sometimes you got to stand up for what's right, and society or law is going to say that you were wrong, and you're still going to get punished for what you did. You just got to understand that what you're doing has to outweigh the punishment. And I'm not going to fight the school on a suspension or whatever it may be. And I really hope that whatever parent had that bully kid that has a problem that decides to come to the school for that mediation, I pray for their safety when I walk into that room, because I'm probably not the dad you're going to get mad at. You know, but at some point, dude, like, and this could be a whole nother podcast, but it won't be because we don't have enough education behind it. But schools are scary. And the way kids are getting bullied. Imagine some of these kids that do have issues getting bullied if someone stood up for them. Like, it's not just about your kid being bullied. It's about your kid having the confidence to stand up for another kid that they're witnessing being bullied. And a lot of times they don't. Dude, how many times we've seen that in our own life where as long as it's not happening to you, like, you don't give a fuck. You're in your own lane, and, like, that's it. At some point, like, where this bullying frenzy is going to take a turn is when kids don't tolerate it at all. Not just they don't tolerate it to themselves, but if they see it happening to any kid,
they're saying something.
Kids start speaking up going, hey, fucker. That's not how we treat kids. And then some other kid is like, yeah. And, like, now you're alienated, and now you're intimidated because you were trying to bully someone. That's where that tide changes, but it's not going to change unless one or two kids observe that and start making a stand. And
they start observing it at home too, right? Are you the dad that just comes home and you're talking shit about the people that you work with, and you're bitching about these people, and you're, you know, not to their face, but you're bullying these people that you work with in front of your kids, and just like the same thing happens with mom. And then when they see like you in a situation, are you not standing up for yourself? And then they're going to school and they're emulating the same behavior. As a man, sign up for a damn kickboxing class. Go take some jiu-jitsu or something. Go learn how to hit, learn how to get hit. Go get your ass kicked so that in a real life situation, you're not afraid to get your ass kicked because you've been there before.
100%.
So beneficial.
And listen, this is nothing against women. I'm not a woman. I can't speak to it. there are some things, there are some passions and fire and desire within a man where he's just got to go do man shit.
Physical shit.
That man
Yep.
shit, like I'm not saying that you got to go be the champion UFC fighter. No, but there's things within us and men out there, like, you know what we're talking about. Like, you got to go dive in and challenge yourself. And it doesn't have to be fighting. It could be chess.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
whatever it is for you, like, you should be diving into those challenges and things that make it hard. Now, in addition to your own stuff, do I think that just learning physical fitness and self-defense is important regardless because of just threats to the outside? 100%. So that I think that speaks separately.
Yeah.
I think we've covered stereotypes. Is there any other stereotypes?
We all know them.
We
We all
all
know 'em.
I know I'm making fun of White
We all
Claw.
know 'em.
Listen, if you fucking crush the gym, it's okay to have a normal beer. If you have to have White Claw because you're counting the calorie, you're not deadlifting heavy enough, and you're definitely not smashing how you should.
Ben commented, I had a White Claw yesterday. Thank you very much.
Fuck you, Ben. Ben
Oh,
wears
that's
aviators
awesome.
when the lights are on in the classroom.
He
so
does. What's up, Ben?
Ben, that's a White Claw commercial if I haven't ever seen
Oh,
one. Nah,
that's
Ben,
funny.
you're a good dude, man. I appreciate your support on the podcast.
Yeah.
Get you a Budweiser, watch that hair grow on your chest.
And again, hey, if you're a man out there, you shouldn't give a fuck what we're saying.
No, and Ben's a cool guy, man, and I like when people can joke. Because, again, here I am talking shit about White Claw. It's not much different than Angry Orchard, except for Angry Orchard just has more calories to it, but it's a sweet tooth beer. So,
Yep.
again, making fun of different stereotypes. Be who you are, man, and just embrace it.
That's
and,
the point. Be who you are.
and, dude, I love the Marine Corps because we would fuck with each other all the time. Kind of like you and I, every single day.
Yep.
We just embrace our differences and make fun of them, and it's okay because we're comfortable within our own skin, and those differences are okay. But definitely I think we've hit, society has hurt what we would call manhood and just what that expects. And like, yeah, man, I guess from my experiences too, there's just threats around this world, whether it's intra or international. There's just threats, man, and I'm not going to rely off of some system to protect my home or protect my family, nor should you. I'm not going to expect Donald Trump to come hang out on my porch and keep my family safe. And if he puts a policy in place, I'm not going to expect a piece of paper to keep my family safe against danger.
Yep.
I don't think danger and criminals and just evil in this world, I don't think they adhere to any of that, right? So you're just going to adhere to me if you happen to come this direction, right?
Yeah.
So I do think that society has heard it. It just makes it a lot more acceptable. And then what happens, right? Like humans by nature, like we're innately lazy, right? So now when we allow like a laziness or a passiveness or just a lack of that initiative, when we allow it to be acceptable, it gets worse.
Pay attention to the little things.
Yeah.
That's a big thing right there, guys. Like, pay attention to the little things. When I park my car in the driveway every fucking Wednesday, that stupid newspaper that I never read is sitting in the driveway. And every time I park and I'm in the garage and I look at it out in the driveway and I'm like, I could get that tomorrow. And I'm like, no. Walk out there, little bitch, pick it up, throw it away. All those little things matter, guys. Pay attention to little things. Write down your non-negotiables. Think what those things are and where you're just willing to not bend, right? And bottom line, if you're a person on this planet, man or woman, you have a duty and an obligation to protect those around you. Be a good person, right? Try and grow. Just the stagnant of just like, I just can't stand stagnation, man. When things aren't changing, grosses me out. Just get better.
And just that feeling that you have to anything to prove to anyone.
Yeah.
Right? So
No.
again, when we come back to putting labels and when we're forcing something to have an identity, just because you don't wear a grunt style shirt doesn't mean you're not pro-military. Doesn't mean you're not pro-man. Doesn't mean you're not a man. You don't see me wearing them. Minus my short hair and my big ass head, you might not know I was even in the military. I don't know. I don't know what people think of me.
Yeah.
But I'm okay to learn. I have self accountability. I know when I'm wrong. I was wrong yesterday, right? I was talking to Kate, right, and she had a good point. Like we were going back and forth about something. And I'm like, yeah, but this, and she's like, I know, but is that the most productive thing? And I'm like, okay, so dude, I got her some good food, some fucking popsicles at the grocery store, a big old sweater blanket. I was, hey, my bad. And by the way, when you're in a long relationship, food does make something better as long as it's not. And look, it wasn't even like it wasn't a big bad thing. It was like a little disagreement on some preferences. It
Yep.
wasn't like an actual argument. And I was still like, hey, good point.
Yep.
Touche. And
Yep.
I get her a big old sweater blanket to let her know she matters. And you know, and that's just our relationship. I like doing that stuff because
I like sweater blankets too, by the way.
I know, but
For the record.
she's so.
In case you're ever looking, my
he's gonna be
birthday's
wearing
coming
a-
up, you know.
He's going to be wearing a Snuggie. What are those things? A
Yeah,
Snuggie on the next
yeah.
podcast. But I think just being comfortable in your own skin as a man. So do some things that are hard, that'll toughen you up.
Yep.
Do some things that will callous you. Do some things that will push your patience. Find ways to learn how to be compassionate and patient and understanding how you should be passionate and patient with things.
Mhm.
You know, do some things that are calming.
Mhm.
You know, like, but all of those things need to matter to who you are as a person. You don't have to go
Right.
show your guns. You don't have to go show your jujitsu comp.
Mhm.
You don't have to go show how you got a door for a girl. Like, you don't have to
Mhm.
show necessarily anything. I just think if you're growing in all facets, and I'm big on samurai history, and that's
Mhm.
something, you know, like when we talk about like the 7 virtues of a samurai and different
Mhm.
things, like they were great at a lot of things. It wasn't
Mhm.
just battle. It was how
Right.
they treated their family. It was how they were a farmer and a craftsman, and just, you know, some of them were musicians. And they just took up several different roles
Yeah.
that made them well-rounded. And I also think that they understood how all of those carry into one another.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I'm big on that.
Man. Yeah. It's
I like
true.
that stuff, but I think that mold has to fit you. It doesn't you don't have to do it like me or like anyone else. Just be you. But there are a lot of you out there that are succumbing to the acceptance of society, allowing you to be a soft little fucking cookie,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I promise you, heavyweights, they won't hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
I promise.
Someone kicking your head off might, but that's still beneficial.
Yeah.
That's still beneficial.
100%. So push yourself, do some things
Yeah.
that are hard. I
Yeah.
think these are those final
Yeah.
bits, right? Do some
Yeah.
things that are hard. Get out of your comfort zone. Have some self-awareness. Learn, be wrong, apologize for it, get better
Mhm.
at it, and just be well-rounded, man. But again, with how you envision yourself. And heavyweights aren't going to hurt you, I promise. Promise.
Go get some, guys.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
See you guys later this week.
Peace.
Until then, put that White Claw down, Ben.